Hey, what's going on, all my six-string friends? Good to see you. Much appreciated. Thanks for stopping by. Hey, just spent the last 2 days on the road and exhausted, but I wanted to get some videos done. So I've been thinking about doing this one for a while. I figured today was just a good enough day to do it than any other day, I guess. So I'm going to take you into the studio here. Nothing more than just a small room with all my gear and stuff in it, kind of show you where everything is, how it works, why I've got it, where I've got it, just to kind of keep it interesting. So it kind of gives you a little more personal side to what's going on in there. Hopefully if you like this video and the other one, please make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But let's, I'm going to keep the camera rolling. Let's just kind of head inside and see what everything's looking like in there. All right, so here we go. This is kind of it. I'll change it around, so you're not looking at my mug the whole time. But this is basically the studio. You kind of see some of the gear back there. Just got the drop cloth, just the screen back here. Basically got some ideas for down the road. But let me flip it around so you can kind of take a look at this and show you some more things here. Okay. All right, so here we are. I mean, this is kind of where the magic happens, right? So lots of things going on here. A lot of things happening in terms of, my gear, stuff on the wall. So I'll kind of walk you through the wall stuff first, just to give you an insight to what's going on in my head here sometimes. So originally from New Jersey, right here, this is all from Asbury Park. You can see the palace, the board. This was all done probably 20 plus years ago. I took those pictures. The palace is long since gone, demolished. I don't even know if anything's in its place right now. That one right there is the convention center. So, just some, Kingsley right there. I think it was King's, that's the name of the street. I could be wrong there. I mean, probably am. Usually I am. So, but that's kind of that. Nils Lofgren poster from when he played at the Stone Pony. I got that from a friend of mine years ago. I've got another one that I haven't put up yet. I didn't want to overdo it. You see some Rush stuff here. So this picture here, as well as the Permanent Waves album cover and the Caress of Steel album cover, signed by the band. And I know a lot of folks kind of wondering, well, how did I do that? The only way to describe it is that it was through the mail. Just from networking with some folks, what I did was just from doing some research. And I believe it was on the Time Machine tour for these. I don't think it was Clockwork Angels. I believe it was Time Machine, but I could be wrong. It could have been both, actually. My understanding was that some of the theaters and places they were playing, some of them would forward fan mail to the band when I got there, and some wouldn't. So I had found out that the Verizon amphitheaters and those arenas were good for forwarding. They would forward the mail to the tour manager, which was Liam Burt, and if they signed it, great. But if not, you run the risk of not getting it back. So I was successful 4 out of 5 times. I've got another photo somewhere. I lost out on a poster I sent, I think because it was just too big of an item. You've got to send yourself a dress stamped envelope, all that stuff. But definitely these are prized possessions of mine. So I've got 3 of them right there. That picture was actually taken from, I believe I found it for it was the Time Machine tour, actually, out in Allentown, Pennsylvania. So that's where that was taken. So those for sure are really favorites of mine. As far as another signed piece right there, Andy McKee. I saw him, I think it was February of 19 up in Teaneck at actually had just changed to the Debonair Music Hall. I don't know if anybody has connections to Andy, but I would love to let him know that maybe he remembers. During that show, I was up front. He played a great show to begin with. There was a table next to me where some guy was actually sleeping for most of the show. He woke up and then he made a phone call and started talking on the phone the whole time. So, and I remember Andy and I kind of locked eyes, like, I can't believe this is happening. He was kind of, laughing it off, but it had to be uncomfortable. So if anybody has that connection to Andy, I'm just curious if he remembers that at the Debonair Music Hall up in Teaneck. Some Route 66 memorabilia I've gotten over to, time here. Bruce Springsteen, this was from the 2003 stadium tour, the 10 shows he did at the Meadowlands. I think it was Giant Stadium at the time. Got that. As far as some of the gear here, this is a condenser mic I tend to use a lot. My Vox Amp, which is going to be my go-to for when I got a couple gigs coming up. Tube amp. I got my lighting kit here. So when you see the lights happening. That's kind of where these are coming from. A Telly style guitar. I mean, low end, but it works well. The Firefly, which I've got here. Behind that, a small little Pollard guitar. The GT 3. I'm still kind of messing with that here and there. I got my Fishman amp on the floor there, which is great for acoustic gigs. Been using this thing a lot, the Nux lately for really just some of my students, guitar lessons, that sort of thing. I am also kind of going back and forth between the Spark 40, so I use that quite a lot as well. Still in the market. I'm going to get that Spark Go eventually. Got to throw that in there. Little 6-string fun merch. If anybody's interested, it's out there, so let me know and I'll direct it to the right spot. These photos here, 3 Rush photos. They were all taken from the Newark show in 2015, right? That was the R40 tour. So obviously this one here, they're in Roll the Bones. So we had good seats for that one. This one was for Xanadu. And then I believe this one was, if it's not Jacob's Ladder, it was, I believe they played Hemispheres, the prelude at that show. Great seats to begin with my buddy Gary, my buddy Maff. So, good time that night for sure. Picture here, Joe DiMaggio. It's actually a painting. So during my memorabilia collecting days, knew someone who was an artist, and he kind of did this stuff on the side. So that is all hand painted. That was actually, I got that as a gift for my dad, and then when he passed, I ended up with it. So, certainly that gets on the wall as well. What am I going to say? Duke's a Hazzard fan, right? So, always fun with Roscoe P. Coaltrane, right? So that's really kind of it. So when you see me doing the lessons, that's kind of how that's set up for the most part. I got everything, I'm right there in the middle with the chair sometimes. Might be too busy, but I just kind of like, keeping it casual, something, some talking points with some stuff going on in the background. That said, I'm going to go over here, and I've got this, really this frame and this backdrop, which I just recently got. And the reason I got it was to avoid having all this, because my plan is to do some online courses, online guitar lessons. And I think to really kind of give it a polished look, you do need that solid backdrop there. So that's why this is here. I just kind of got it set up for the first time. I'm going to test it out with some other things going on. But I think that's kind of what I've needed here to kind of take things to the next level, if you want to call it that. So, but looking forward to it. I got a lot of ideas. And, again, if you're interested in online courses or whatever it is, I'm not trying to pitch it here, but, what would you want to see? I'm doing everything from the beginner lessons to, intermediate, with a lot of different things in between. So that would be the plan. So I'm curious if you have an interest. Let me know what you'd want to see, if you even would pay for something like that. I would try to keep it, somewhere in between low cost for the user, while also being able to pay the bills for myself. So somewhere in between there. I'd want to be fair. And up top there, you'll see a couple things. Number one, let's get something straight. I am a Giants fan. I am a Yankees fan. And I say Giants fan, and you see the Dallas Cowboys pennant up there, and you're wondering what's going on. So you can't really see it, but if you look above Cowboys, it's in silver paint pen. It's actually autographed by Randy White. So that's why that's up there. I always thought Randy White was really cool growing up. So got that one. I'm going to shift over here to the Jets. Well, not a Jets fan, but actually, if you're a Jets fan today, Aaron Rodgers officially, the deal is done, I guess. So, we're going into draft week. So, Aaron Rodgers, done deal. Well, welcome to the Jets, from this Giants fan. But anyway, why would I have this up there? If you look closely, right under New York, under the new, signed by Don Maynard, Hall of Fame 87. So I've had that I had that pennant for years. And I got it signed probably 20 years ago. So I've held on to that one. And then up there, try to get out of that glare area there if I can do that. Not working for me. There we go. New York Yankees pennant, 77. When they won the pennant, the American League pennant, and they played the Dodgers in the World Series. But this was, I guess my dad got it from me. He actually went to one of the games. I mean, this is back in the day when, it was, during the day, there wasn't, it just isn't, obviously it's more of a spectacle it is today than it was just a game back then, which I kind of wish I could have experienced that, just going for the game and nothing else. But signed by a bunch of the guys there. If I'm looking at it, let's see. Roy White, Mickey Rivers, Lou Piniella, George Zieber, Paul Blair, Mickey Klutz, Greg Nettles, Cliff Johnson, Bucky Dent, Sparky Lyle, Mike Torres. Let's see what we got there. Actually got Guidry on. Ron Guidry's on it. Ed Figueroa, if I pronounce that correctly. I never got that right. Ed Figueroa, Don Gullett, and Ken Clace. Over top left in faint pen is Chris Chambliss. So those are the guys I got on that. Not that you really see this, but this is just kind of pictures I've taken over the years. Honestly, one of my favorites right there. I'll try to give you that shot right there. That is Skylands Park up in New Jersey when the St. Louis Cardinals still had one of their farm teams up there. It was the the New Jersey Cardinals. So that was single A short season. So that was really the guys coming right out of school, basically out of college. That was their first stop. I mean, majority of them didn't really get much further than that, but it was cool. As a matter of fact, Mattingly and Randy Johnson came through that league with different teams. I think the Oneida Tigers and what team would it have been with the Yankees? I don't remember now off the top of my head. Whatever team was in that league, though. But, those are the ones that came through, if I remember correctly. Why am I thinking Oneida Tigers for one of them? Randy Johnson might have been the Vermont Expos, if I remember. Again, this is years ago. So moving around here, one of the guitars, that's my Alvarez right there. Some gear mine I'm going through. State parks or parks of exploring America. We do a lot of road tripping, so it's really cool to kind of just gaze at this once in a while to see what's going on. And folks, that's really it. So it's really not a whole lot to go over, but it gives you an idea what's happening here. Got a shout out to the Jungle Junction crew right there. Actually loved that show when my daughter was young. So that's really it. In the bag back there is my pedal board. Over here you got the bags on the stand. One of them is a microphone. One of them is my Tascam handheld recorder. This hat here belonged to my grandfather. Never knew him. He passed before I was born, so I always like to kind of keep little memories close to me for everyone. So that's really it. So, and all the guitars are actually on a Hercules stand. Actually love that stand. I've had that for years. And if you're interested, again, I'll put some of these links in the description if you have an interest in some of the items. If you're looking for something that's to add to your collection, I can do that for sure. No issues there at all. But this is really it. Not a whole lot much to it. Keeping it simple. Just wanted to get something out there. I've been meaning to share the studio for a while. There we go. So hopefully you enjoyed this little nickel tour here, and I'll see you with some more videos down the road. All right, take it easy. Bye.